CBS 47 Action News Jax starts right now.
Right now, police are interviewing witnesses after a woman was shot inside her own home. This is Action News Jax at noon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Phil Amato.
I'm Letitia Barriola in for Don Lopez. Action News Jax brought you this story as breaking news last night at 10. Action News Jax Brittany Werner joins us live. And Brittany, investigators say several people were inside the home when this happened.
Yeah, and at last check, they were talking to those people, trying to figure out what happened here. But just to give you an idea of where we are exactly, I'm standing right at the corner of Ladysmith Lane and Invermere. But right to my left on this corner, this is the home right there where this all went down. Now, police say this happened around 2 this morning. And again, there were multiple people inside that house when it happened. I spoke with a neighbor over here who told me she heard those gunshots, and a few minutes later, she heard police arrive. Now, take a look at this video from earlier today when it was still a police presence in front of the house. Officers told us this happened shortly after 2 this morning. The call initially came in as a home invasion, and when police got here, they found a woman in her 30s had been shot in the shoulder and the arm and hand. Police say she is expected to survive, though, and we're told there were other people, again, in the house when this happened. Right now, police are still working to figure out exactly why this shooting happened. Now, I spoke with several neighbors around here who said they did extensive research when they actually moved to this area, and it said that it was safe around here. They're hoping this incident that happened at this home was isolated and they can go back to their quiet neighborhood that they know. Reporting live in Jacksonville, Brittany Werner, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Meanwhile, JSO is also searching for 2 suspects in a deadly home invasion over the weekend. Action News Jax first broke the news Saturday night when one person was killed after police say he tried to break into a house in Hyde Park. It happened during a fight between the suspect and 3 men who were in the home. 2 other men are believed to have ran off at some point during that shooting. We're working to learn the name of the person killed. Make sure to download the Action News Jax app. Will alert you as soon as we learn more on these stories. All you have to do is search Action News Jax in your app store. It's free.
Covering Columbia County right now, Lake City Police looking for a woman who disappeared. She's on your screen just here in a second. This is Marisa Ramos. She was last seen by her sister in October. Police say she is physically disabled, 5 foot, and weighs 115 pounds. If you've seen her in the last 2 months, call Lake City Police.
Pretrial has been set for January for the man accused of driving drunk when he hit and killed a 22-year-old. Action News Jax showed you this video in July of a car speeding through a Jacksonville Beach neighborhood just moments before Brian Turner was killed. Police say Joshua Lovingood was behind the wheel. Court documents show that he had been arrested twice for DUI in the last 5 years. JTB at Kernan Boulevard is all clear right now, but hours ago, 3 lanes were blocked due to a crash. This is video of that 3-lane closure taken from our traffic camera just hours ago. Action News Jax has contacted FDOT to learn if anyone was hurt. We'll update you as soon as we learn more.
Millions are hitting the web this Cyber Monday, but simple mistakes could get your identity stolen. One is looking for deals via search engines like Google instead of on a retail site. Experts say that's a quick way to land you on one of those fake online shopping websites. The National Retail Federation is expecting 114 million people to buy things today. That means cyber criminals will be out there trying to get access to your bank account. So here are some ways to protect your money. First, experts say to shop from a secure computer with a secure connection. So look for the HTTPs at the beginning of your web address. If you see a deal that seems too good to be true, probably is, do a little bit more research before you go ahead and buy it. And don't use your debit cards online if you can avoid it, because there's not much fraud protection there. Your credit card, that's a different story though. We have a list of active Cyber Monday deals posted on actionnewsjax.com. It's broken down by store and items depending on where you're shopping. And you know, Black Friday sales made the most revenue than ever before. A total of $7.4 billion were spent on Black Friday and $4.2 billion on Thanksgiving Day. Experts say it's partially because Thanksgiving came almost a week later this year than last year, giving us a shorter holiday season this year.
The Supreme Court justices heard arguments this morning in a gun rights case for the first time in nearly a decade. The case focuses on a former law in New York City that restricted where gun owners can bring their guns. Action News Jack's Samantha Manning and our Washington bureau has more details on the case.
This case centers on a law that has already been changed in New York City. Gun rights advocates are hoping the conservative-leaning justices will take this opportunity to expand gun rights and protections under the Second Amendment.
Gun laws! Gun laws!
Crowds of protesters supporting gun control gathered outside the Supreme Court, holding up signs and sharing stories of victims of gun violence. Gun rights supporters turned out too. The justices heard arguments about a former New York City gun regulation that blocked gun owners from taking a handgun out of their home except to nearby shooting ranges. The city voluntarily changed that law after the Supreme Court took the case in an effort to stop the court from reviewing the Second Amendment. Gun control advocates worry the justices will hand down a ruling that goes against the hundreds of gun restrictions put in place at local levels across the country. Gun safety groups and the state of New York have asked the court to dismiss the case, but it declined. In Washington, Samantha Manning, CBS47, Action News Jax.
Action News Jax told you last Tuesday when Clay County leaders moved to protecting gun owners from any laws that challenges their gun rights. Clay is now a Second Amendment sanctuary county. This map shows Lake County in central Florida. It was the first in Florida to pass a similar resolution. Leaders in Wakulla and Sarasota are also considering it.
Right now, questions remain on what's become a tragic local case. The mother charged with child neglect and lying to police in connection to the disappearance of her daughter, Taylor Rose Williams, will face a judge on Wednesday. Action News Jax told you on November 6th when Brianna Williams told police her 5-year-old daughter was missing. We reached out to DCF that day to see if the family had a history. They got back to us and said they never had an open investigation on Williams. Action News Jax told you when Taylor's remains were identified in Alabama near her mother's hometown. The question is still, what's next for the 27-year-old sailor, the person of interest in her daughter's disappearance? We have much more about Taylor's case posted online. For the top 10 things to know if you're following this case, just go to actionnewsjax.com.
Well, Action News Jax, your official station of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and another tough loss for the Jags on Sunday. But it was the return of Gardner Minshew that has many wondering who will be under center next week against the San Diego Chargers. Yeah, the fans are chanting for Minshew magic since the first half, and they got what they wanted. In the second half, the young QB's first drive included a couple of big plays and ended in a field goal. Minshew was called in, of course, because during Nick Foles' second game at the bank, he turned the ball over 3 times. Head coach Doug Marrone says the decision to pull a Super Bowl winning QB was not an easy one.
I don't think any decision like that's easy. It's very painful, and I look at it as if I ever have to bench someone or pull someone or whatever words that we want to pull, it's a direct reflection on me, not having guys ready or whatever it may be.
Here's a look at how the rest of the season lines up. Week 14, the Chargers will be in Jacksonville this coming Sunday. Then the Jags take to a 2-game road trip. The season then closes out at home against the Colts. Make sure to join the Action Sports Jax team as they break down the Big Cats game against the Buccaneers. You can tune in to Jags Report tonight at 7 p.m. on CBS47, live from Topgolf.
Action News Jax is learning a local woman was killed in a crash involving 9 people in Flagler County. The woman has been identified as Cynthia Clark of Atlantic Beach. She was killed when Highway Patrol says 2 cars going north on I-95, they collided, happened over the weekend. That crash caused a 3rd car to be hit, resulting in a pileup. 2 of the victims are recovering from critical injuries. The others were not seriously hurt. And you're getting a live look at JIA, where 1 flight is canceled and a few more expecting delays due to some winter storms. The 12:45 flight departing to Newark is canceled. And with the Thanksgiving weekend coming to an end, those storms are being blamed for 7 deaths in parts of the country. The First Alert weather teams says many cities in the Midwest saw at least a foot of snow over the weekend. And in the Northeast, snow is expected to continue to fall in major cities like Philadelphia and Boston. And if that snow leaves you stuck in the airport, don't fret. There are ways to make the most out of your flight delay. You can take a self-guided tour down the terminal. Take your stuff along, maybe shop a little. Also, you can also try on some duty-free clothing. And ever wonder how travelers find the time to dip into those designer storefronts and try on a new outfit? Well, delays certainly free up your time. Good point. You can also find what makes the airport special. Georgia's Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport has its charms. If you opt to walk between terminals, you might pass through a neon-lit rainforest.
And from the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh. Right now we're tracking cold air coming in from Atlanta right now here to Jacksonville over northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. I'll let you know how cold we get tonight and who sees near freezing temperatures. That's coming in the Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast.
A Jacksonville woman tells me she's grateful to be alive after doctors here at UF Health Jacksonville removed her brain tumor. Coming up, why it's only been done a couple of times throughout the world.
A moment that would later rewrite U.S. history. The pioneer of it all is being honored. Talking about Rosa Parks here. Her stance against racial prejudice is being commemorated 64 years later.
What to watch tonight, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
Well, a Jacksonville woman says she is grateful to be alive today. That's because doctors at UF Health Jacksonville took on a rare procedure to remove a tumor in her brain.
New at noon. Action News Jack's Brittany Donovan joins us live. And Brittany, doctors say the surgery, it was very challenging.
I talked with the lead surgeon on her case, but I also got a chance to talk with Lauren Fells. She tells me this surgery gave her a whole new perspective on life. She also tells me she couldn't be more grateful to the doctors here at UF Health Jacksonville for taking on her rare case. Now, she told me that she started getting really bad headaches in April. That's when she went to the UF Health Jacksonville emergency room and found out she had a brain tumor. Dr. Dariush Tavanpour showed me her scans. It was in the back of her head, right next to a vessel that carries blood into the brain. That location made it tricky, so Dr. Tavanpour, he started looking online to see how other doctors had done it. He found out the surgery had only been done one other time in the world.
It's surrounded by pretty critical structures of the brain, particularly the brainstem and arteries and vessels, which made it more challenging than usual.
But thank God he got all of it, and it was benign.
And doctors were able to get the whole tumor out, and that's what Lauren Fellows tells me she's grateful for today. Now, it was also thanks to a specialized team at UF Health Jacksonville's Skull-Base Center. It's one of the only ones in our area for hundreds of miles. I'll have more on that team. And the one thing that Fellows says helped her get through the surgery, all new tonight at 5. Reporting live, Brittany Donovan, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
Right now, at least 11 people shot over the weekend in New Orleans are recovering as police are still looking for the person responsible. It happened early Sunday on Canal Street following the Bayou Classic football game, a time known for celebration. Detectives say 2 of the people shot are in critical condition. Police say they're working to learn more about the moments leading up to that gunfire. One person was questioned but is not a suspect, according to investigators.
So we did detain an individual. This is still in the preliminary stages of the investigation. We do not know if this individual have any involvement in this incident as of right now.
Police are looking at surveillance video in the area, hopeful it will lead them to answers. Both of the victims killed in a terror attack near London Bridge were University of Cambridge graduates. Police say 23-year-old Sassiska Jones and 25-year-old Jack Merritt were networking together with academics and criminal justice organizations. Merritt worked as a course coordinator for Learning Together, and Jones was a volunteer for the group. That attacker, Usman Khan, was shot and killed by police.
They sound like good people. Sad to hear that. Meanwhile, civil rights icon and pioneer Rosa Parks has a new tribute to inspire future generations. Over the weekend, she was honored with a statue near the same area where she so bravely refused to give up her bus seat. That just didn't happen back then until she did it. Sunday's unveiling marked 64 years since that historic moment, which piloted the start of the civil rights movement. Parks was arrested that day, but it was her actions, many say, that will forever live on.
When someone has repented or it's almost like an acknowledgement of what she did, but then also at the same time, it's just uplifting.
Parks died in 2005 from natural causes.
Students at one Florida high school are making history. They became the first group of scholars to dissect synthetic frogs here. These are pictures of their science experiment. The highly realistic synthetic frogs were created by a Tampa company called Syndaver. The company says their mission is to get schools to move away from real animal dissections.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beatonbaugh. Right now we're only in the upper 50s in Jacksonville, mid 50s in Mayport, and lower to mid 50s in Folkestone to Kingsland, and still got a little bit of that breeze too, but we're sunny with our sky and clear with the skies here across the area right now. We're at 57 even downtown Jacksonville here, the St. Johns River looking pretty nice. As we go through this afternoon, we're still going to be in the upper 50s. Northwest winds around 14 miles per hour, so low 50s by 6 o'clock, and then the upper 40s here this evening with that offshore breeze around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Right now, First Alert Doppler HD here over Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia is dry. We have a few clouds offshore, those puffy cumulus clouds right there, but the cold front that went through yesterday is well 2 hours south here. A lot of cold air though filtering in now, reinforcing cold air for tonight. That'll help cool our temperatures down to the 30s in many spots. But this afternoon, hour by hour, no rain here. Those offshore winds continuing. We'll see clear skies even into tomorrow. But today, we're only going to be, again, in the upper 50s, mid to upper 50s for Brunswick to Kingsland this afternoon, upper 50s in Palatka. As we head inland, we'll be in the mid-50s Blackshear, upper 50s in Glen St. Mary. Early in the morning, though, when you wake up, near freezing here for Waycross to Folkestone. Likely going to see some spots touching freezing or just below that, too. But just above it there, 32, the freezing point of water. At Lake City will be about 33, 34 in Jacksonville, upper 30s closer to the coast. But the gist of this is it's going to be a chilly night and a chilly morning when you wake up tomorrow. The average in the upper 40s for this time of year. Now the winds will lighten up a bit, but right now they're gusting to 20 to 25 miles per hour in Jacksonville, Mayport near 30 miles per hour there with that wind gust, and gusting to 24 miles per hour in St. Augustine. We'll see those winds relax though as we head through this evening. There's 6 o'clock in the hour-by-hour forecast. About 5 to 10 miles per hour inland is what we'll see for tonight and overnight, even less amounts, and that will help us get those temperatures down to the low 30s in inland southeast Georgia. Here's your Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast with your weekend always in view. We'll gradually build our temperatures back to the near 70-degree mark by your Friday, but morning lows will still be chilly by Wednesday morning in the upper 30s, 40 degrees by Thursday, mid-30s or mid-40s rather for Friday morning. And then of course we're already tracking the weekend for you here on Monday. An isolated shower Friday night into the early morning hours of Saturday, but it doesn't look to be a washout on Saturday. We're back to the mid-70s by the end of this weekend. You can always get this forecast any time of the day right there on the First Alert Weather app, and join meteorologist Stacy Garvilla beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax.
One movie was a smash hit during the holiday weekend. How Hot Frozen 2 performed in the box office, and the milestone the movie is celebrating.
And fighting back against an underwater epidemic, the unique solution scientists are using to help bring dying coral reefs back to life. Been talking about this story during the commercial break. Just fascinating. Sounds from underwater speakers could be key in saving coral reefs. According to the scientists in the journal Nature Communications, playing a recording from healthy coral reefs brought an increase of fish and a number of marine life to the ailing reefs. We're trying to figure out what that sound is. Maybe you can guess it. Scientists say if the study will not solve the epidemic, it will be a step, though, in the right direction.
I loved this movie. Disney's Frozen 2 is now the highest grossing movie ever for the Thanksgiving weekend box office. The sequel set the record, bringing in more than $121 million over the 5-day weekend. The murder mystery Knives Out came in second place with $27 million, and Ford versus Ferrari came in third. We'll be right back.
New at 5 o'clock, dogs used to diagnose Parkinson's disease years before doctors can figure it out. How regular pets are being trained to help patients and perhaps one day find a cure.
A lot of sunshine today, just the 50s. Have a good day.
Weiner's next.
I'm going to be editing in terms of schedule, but I know it'll be.
Can I look through this?